Hi everybody and welcome to Clare GAA headquarters in Clare GAA. As you know, we're feast of finals in hurling and football are going to be in train in the next couple of weeks, and tonight we're discussing the final of the Minor B Hurling Championship. Highly sought after trophy. A lot of teams that win that Minor B, a lot of fellas go on to play at the highest level for the clubs and counties, and it's a good stepping stone for players moving into intermediate and senior hurling. Two clubs that are involved this week now, two clubs have fought their way brilliantly to the final, two teams that would have been probably expected to be in the knockout stage of this competition, at least the semi-final. We have David McInerney. His father Jim would probably be the best one, probably better hurler than David was, but David is a bit faster. Jim is probably faster than David. But so David's involved representing the Tulla GAA club, and we have Robbie Madden here from O'Callaghan's Mills Bodyke. So again, welcome and congratulations to both sides for qualifying for the final. David, I suppose first off for you, how did you get to the final?
So we were in the group stage there with Ballet, Rogue and Wolf Tones, and it was a very interesting group. It came down to the last game, and I think everyone had a chance of going through, and Tulla had to play Wolf Tones the last day in Tulla, and they really put their hand up in that match, and they were on song and they got over them. But I think they had great tussle with Ballet, and they lost their Rogue and just overcame Wolf Tones. Then they had to play in the quarter-final. They had to play Broadford, and they played the Banner in the semi-final in a good match. So they're happy to get to the final, I'd say, with all the competition they've had. And
you got over a decent Banner team now, to be fair, with Shane Meehan and Tulla, so you got over that match with a few points to spare down below in Shannon, I think it was.
Yeah, it was actually a brilliant match. The Banner were up a point at half time, but I noticed there with the young lads, it's funny, if a goal goes in, a team can get an awful boost from it and the other team can drop their heads, but the boys got a goal just after half time, the Tulla lads, and the Banner seemed to wilt a little bit from it, but I'd say if they played that game again, they would like, if they played the Banner again, it was all in the day, like, so they were happy to get the win anyway.
So Robbie, everyone's been talking about the Mills Bodyke champions elect since the competition was even drawn, is that true?
I wouldn't say that, no. We've come through with a fierce tough game at the start against Newmarket. Lucky to get over it, I thought, to start, but after that we kind of pushed on a bit alright. We met that better team, as I said, that Shane Meehan. It was a pleasure to watch him play that day against us. He was absolutely unbelievable. But we have maybe one or two more hurlers, and he was kind of trying to marshal it on his own a small bit. He's a couple with him, but we came over the line there, and then we got to look at the draw. Then there was two of the top teams with straight to a semi-final, but then we met Ballet, who really put it up to us. Very strong physical team, and they were trained by Tony Kelly, really Tony Kelly style team. They used to cornerbacks, you could see them above wing forward, corner forward, and we struggled. They were in the lead for most of the game, and the last 10 or 15 minutes, we got the rub of the green with a couple of scores that never really scored for us. They scored that day, and we got over the line, and we're glad to be there, I tell you.
And who's involved with Tulla's management team, background team?
Derek Curry now is involved with Tulla, along with Chris Whitcomb. Kerry Chris, he's known as in Tulla, and a bit of a character, but
interesting, the Kerry group responsible.
Yeah, but his two sons Dan and Shawnee are on it, and he's involved with them all the way up along, and Paul Kelleher is involved with them as well, and they're putting a lot of work into them all year, and sure, we know that the Mills Bodyke are very strong, like, and we struggled with Ballet, and the Mills Bodyke seem to be strong against them, and they have a lot of good lads down the middle, but the management team have just been working away, and hopefully we can get a bit of the rub of the green at next weekend and see what happens.
Robbie, who's involved with your setup now?
Well, we've been fortunate enough. Sean Doyle has been coaching this team since 14, like, so as you know, everyone knows Sean Doyle, fantastic coach. The only man I've ever seen, he could go in and coach 40 young fellas. He could start a session and he'd take it from start to finish, and there'd be no one else involved, but he'd keep them moving for the whole session. And we've John Cooney then and Donald, that's Donald Cooney, the famous one.
Why are you smiling?
Sure, he's got the Middlesbrough senior final yesterday. On his own. And but like I say, then Patsy O'Donnell is with Sean, and like Patsy, Donald and John Cooney, they've no son involved, so like they're giving their time to the pure love of the two clubs and the future of the hurling of the two clubs. So you just got to take your head off the legs like that, like, you know.
I suppose. Who are the leaders in your squad now, if you were to pick out players, we say, men that you look to, or jokers, or lads that have the fun with you?
In the minor panel?
In Tulla?
Yeah.
There's always been jokers in Tulla, but...
There has been a few jokers. I suppose I'm at the age now where I'm a bit away from them lads. There was 4 lads in the intermediates with us, Jimmy O'Gorman, Dan Whitcomb, Lee Mack and Andrew Conheedy, so they'd be the 4 elder lads. Yeah, they were playing for Tulla Secondary School this year as well, along with a good few of the Mills lads, so I suppose they're the 4 elder statesmen on that minor team and 4 nice hurlers, so Dan Whitcomb would probably be the joker amongst them, comes across as a little quiet lad, but he'd be doing stuff there, he'd be a bit of crack.
I suppose the Harty Cup, as you mentioned, the Harty Cup between the 2 schools, that Tulla school is a big player in developers of county hurlers in this county. I suppose the Harty Cup this year was a big player. Would there have been a couple of players involved between the 2 squads?
There would have been,
there was a good few,
Yes, Cork, yes.
Good few from Tulla now, in fairness. And like, they put up a great show, I thought, that day against Flanagan's inside. Like, I know Flanagan's got the rubber green, I thought they got a couple of handy goals, and it could have been a lot different that day, like, but Tulla's been, they're in Harty again for the next 2 years now. And now this year now, they reckon they're an okay team, but I tell you, next year's Harty team, they won under 16B last year, and they'll really push it next year. I really fancy them to have a go the next year.
And who will be the key, we said that the leaders in your squad now?
Like, as Davey said, we're lucky enough, we're fortunate enough, we'd have a couple of Bodyke intermediates, like we'd have Shawnee Dial, Sean Wiley, we'd Cormac Tracy, 3 of them played Bodyke intermediate, and then we've Cormac Murphy who keeps coming on for the middle seniors there. Like, they're we'll be strong up the middle, but I see the game being won not by the stronger lads, because I see them taking themselves out of the game. I'd say the Mikey Macks and the Fionn Hickeys and the Tommy Wileys, these lads on the wings and the corners, if one of them can click for either team, I'd see that being the difference on the day.
Do you find it, David, that Tulla have been quite solid in minor and 21 the last 6 or 7 years? You've been knocking on the door. You probably need all those young players to come in now to try and win an intermediate championship.
Geez, we definitely do, and I think most clubs in East Clare would say you need every young lad coming through now to your adult teams. Like,
so once a fella hits 18, he's nearly, if he's any good, he's
thrown in. Like, you look at the Mills at the weekend, like there's a lot of youth in that team, like Jacob, Gary Cooney, the Cotters, like they're needed to progress a senior or adult team, and like the Mills they're in nirvana at the moment, being in that county final now, and it's great.
That's a word that has not been used yet.
Great experience for them, like, you know. You can. But like, even as Robbie was saying there, I went down to watch Bodyke in intermediate matches this year in case we would be playing them, and I thought Shawnee Dial and Wiley were exceptional they played Clarecastle in Tulla, and I thought they were super.
How did you get into the match?
There's ladders and walls, they've been all over Twitter, sure, haven't they? And Jordan, but yeah, no, Jesus, like all the East Clare teams, every one of them, they need all young lads to come through, and I suppose that's the good thing about an amalgamation as well for the likes of Bodyke, is like they're getting good competitive games, and it's translating into their intermediate team now as well.
Yeah, I suppose Bodyke this year, I suppose we've referred to them, they played an awful lot of young players starting out, and they did well. They did very well. They're not better than I probably thought they would at the start, but they held their own. And
like, these young fellas are coming through all the time, and I can tell you in the next 2 or 3 years that young Tiernan Slattery now coming through, he should be shoving for cornerback in the Clare Minors this year, like, and there's 2 or 3 more that are coming with him next year. Jamie O'Donnell is another one that was on the Clare under 14 squad. They really have, the future is very bright for Bodyke, and I can really see him pushing through for an intermediate title in the next couple of years.
And so you have the Junior A final this weekend.
Yeah.
Do you have many involved in that, or do you have any?
No, there've been none of our boys involved in that. We'd only have 3 on the age, you see, from the Mills, we'll say, involved with the club. Like. So the numbers are a struggle for us. We've 7 coming next year now, so that's good. And then you've only 2 coming the following year. So that's what Dave was saying about the amalgamation. That's why it's so important for a small number.
Basically, you'd be playing minor seed, 11 aside each, or something like that if you weren't joined together.
We wouldn't even. We were facilitating maybe having a minor C team this year on our own if we could, but as the COVID and everything came in, it kind of stopped us doing it. But we were going to put in a minor C team, but we'd only have had 12 or 13, like, at the most, like, you know.
So, Dave, did you just maybe refer? Did your minors do much training on their own, we say, during the COVID? Did you just say to them, "We'll come back to you when it's over, you back to official training"? Did you give us something to do?
To be honest, I wouldn't really know what they did, but just speaking from our point of view with the intermediates, you couldn't risk meeting up. Like, to be, if anything did go wrong, it'd be just bad for the club, because you'd be taking blame if anything did happen or an outbreak happened. Like, you look at what happened in Kilkee, like if that happened with a GAA club, sure, there'd be outroar. So I assume the miners tipped away by themselves and did a little bit at home, or just kept themselves ticking over, but I wouldn't be able to say if they did much now.
How much do you train now, Robbie, generally with at the moment now when you got back to normal?
We'd be training 2 nights a week, and you'd be training once a weekend, or maybe a training match if we could get one. Like, we're lucky enough to we'd have maybe the 30 to 35 training, so we'd be able to have the match, but that's the amalgamation. Like, you'd be going down to 15-year-olds there, like, you know, so.
Yes.
But we are lucky in that sense.
But it's giving great experience to the next generation.
Exactly. You see, I like anyone that you could bring into Sean Dale's training from the younger age. I'd be hoping even to bring a couple of the 14s up just to see it, like, because it's something. He'll probably move on, because he's led Sean, he's moving on now after this year. He's last year minor, so they might never experience Sean Dale, which would be an awful pity for them, like, you know.
Yeah. I suppose ultimately I think the county final is on this weekend, more or less fixed. I suppose the venues will be official by the time this goes out live. Again, thanks very much for both of you coming. It's great to see these two calm, quiet people, and I'm sure on county final day you'll be likewise. You'll be minding the stone and people like that on the side.
And Kerry Chris.
Yeah.
Chris. So again, thanks very much for coming in. I wish both teams the very best luck, and I hope it's a brilliant game, and maybe there might be a few people at the game. So again, thanks to David and to Robbie for coming in to preview the Kerry Group Minor B Hurling final.